that is moving forward in Texas. It's reopening the battle over abortion. Opponents of the bill fear it would allow doctors to withhold information about defects they discover in a fetus and allow them to keep silent about abortion. At its core here, the bill would stop so-called wrongful birth lawsuits. It is controversial. Elizabeth Cohen's going to walk us through all of this. She's our senior medical correspondent here. Elizabeth Cohen, I know you spent time exclusively with this mother who made headlines 4 decades ago. What's the story now?
Brooke, she's back in the headlines again because Dorothy Biggs set a precedent 40 years ago. Her case showed that if a doctor missed a devastating birth defect while the woman was pregnant, the parents could later sue to try to get money to help raise that child. Now, the bill that you mentioned that's going through the legislature right now, that would get rid of that precedent.
Will you let her hold your hand? All right.
Leslie Jacobs can't see or hear her mother, Dorothy Biggs.
This is your only entry into your daughter's world.
It really is.
It's a whole thing.
Hold her hands.
When you were pregnant with Leslie, you got sick.
I just didn't really feel too well, and then I had sort of this little rash.
It was 1968. The rubella virus was widespread.
You had the symptoms of rubella,
Yes, I did.
but your doctor didn't diagnose it.
No, he did not run the test.
Leslie was born deaf and with brain and heart defects. She lost her sight. She needed 13 surgeries her first 6 years of life. Biggs successfully sued the doctor, saying she would have aborted to spare Leslie's suffering.
I love Leslie with all my heart. But I would never have let her suffer like this. Ever. There is no way I would have made a decision other than to have had an abortion.
You think Leslie's birth was wrong?
Yes. Yes. That was good.
Now, 48 years later, Biggs is once again stirring the abortion debate. The Texas Senate has passed a bill doing away with such wrongful birth lawsuits. That's where a parent sues, saying they would have ended the pregnancy if the doctor had made the correct diagnosis.
There are no wrongful births.
Senator Brandon Creighton sponsored the bill.
Mrs. Biggs and others think that you're just trying to get at abortion.
I think this bill could promote certainly tort reform, and I think this bill also promotes a culture of life.
All right. I wonder how Senator Creighton would feel had he been in my shoes. Had he stood over her bed and watched her suffer. You feel that wind?
Creighton says families like Leslie's don't need to worry, that there are other ways they can sue to hold doctors accountable for mistakes. The legal authorities tell CNN that's incorrect, that without a wrongful birth law, families like Leslie's would have no way to recover damage payments.
Other women need to know what they're facing. They have a right to be told, be diagnosed, and to understand what the risks are involved for that child.
In the end, it's not about money for Biggs. It's about her daughter's life of suffering, something she says politicians could never understand.
They don't love her. They don't love her. I'm the one who loves her. I'm the one who should have made the decision.
Elizabeth, wow. First, just the bill itself, this Texas bill. Where is it? Is it likely to pass? What sort of opposition are they facing?
Well, it's gone through the Senate, and there's a hearing scheduled, Brooke, this week in the House of Representatives in Texas. And while there is opposition, there's great concern among critics that it will pass, and then families nowadays, like Dorothy Biggs's family, wouldn't have any way to get money to help, raise the child that was born, who they think shouldn't have been born.
But isn't there is also some concern that, if this bill passes and we're talking about defects, in utero, if a doctor sees it, might lie to the patient.
Right, so there's a concern that a doctor who is against abortion might see on a test or on an ultrasound a terrible defect, but would keep mum about it, wouldn't mention it, because they wouldn't want the parent, the mother, to have an abortion. And without this wrongful birth law precedent, if the bill gets rid of that precedent, well, the family can't sue. That's what legal experts tell us. The family can't sue. So if the doctor lies, there may be no repercussions to lying. That's the big concern, that it would allow doctors to hide things from mothers.
Follow that bill for us in Texas. Elizabeth Cohen, thank you for sharing your story.